बनेगा रास्ता। दुनिया में प्रसिद्ध जो, अपने आप सिद्ध जो, रखना इस पे आस था। योगारंभ हो, योगारंभ हो, योगारंभ हो, योगारंभ हो।
विश्व को भेंट दी हमने।
Hello and welcome. It is 7:30 in the evening in India and we are back again with a spotlight on G20. On India at G20 today, we take a look at the challenges and opportunities facing particularly the developing nations in the energy sector. Our correspondents Tapas Bhattacharya and Aisha Khanam report from Bengaluru on the India Energy Week as well as the first G20 Energy Transitions Working Group meeting that got underway on Sunday and concluded its second day today. Also on the show, the latest from the three-day Youth 20 Inception meeting that started in Guwahati today. I'm Tapas Bhattacharya. Let's get started with the top stories. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates India Energy Week. The first major energy event under India's G20 presidency launches multiple green energy initiatives. E20 fuel launched at 84 retail outlets of oil marketing companies in 11 states and union territories. PM flags off Green Mobility Rally, dedicates twin cooktop model of Indian Oil's indoor solar cooking system, a revolutionary solution that works on both solar and auxiliary energy sources at the same time. On its second day, G20 Energy Transitions Working Group in Bengaluru deliberates on universal access to clean energy, just, affordable and inclusive energy transition pathways, promoting energy efficiency and sustainable lifestyles and cost-effective solutions to decarbonize hard-to-abate sectors. India says just transition means each human being must have access to affordable, clean energy. G20 delegates participating in Energy Transitions Working Group in Bengaluru visit Infosys Green Building Campus in Bengaluru to see firsthand India's push towards renewable energy and efforts to mitigate climate change. Youth 20 Inception meeting gets underway in Guwahati. More than 150 youth delegates from G20 countries are participating in the three-day meeting. Delegates participate in an ice-breaking session at Brahmaputra Sandbar Island. Eminent singer Papon performs at the session. Let's begin with an exclusive interview. In an exclusive conversation with DD India correspondent Tapas Bhattacharya in Bengaluru, Hardeep Singh Puri, India's Union Minister for Petroleum and Natural Gas, spoke on India's energy needs, its energy transition initiatives and energy justice. This happened on the day the India Energy Week, a major energy event under India's G20 presidency, was inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Bengaluru.
Joining me is Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri to talk about the India Energy Week that has been inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Sir, amazing feeling, and the world is now looking up to India to give them leadership in energy transition, energy security, energy justice. How do you see this India Energy Week panning out?
Look, there's a lot of interest. There are representatives of 50 countries who are here. There are 35 ministerial level representatives. The CEOs of all the major global companies or their equivalents or number twos are here. All the Indian CEOs are here. Anybody who is associated as a stakeholder with the energy sector is here. So why is this so? One, I think because there is widespread acknowledgement that India is where demand and growth is very evident. And in the coming 2 decades, you will find that India will be the place where the exponential growth will take place. Somebody mentioned to me that between 2020 and 2040, India will account for 25% at least of the growth in international demand of energy. Now, if it was only a question of demand and imports, that would be a different story. But today India has demonstrated it has opened up 1 million square kilometers out of the 3.5 million square kilometers of sedimentary basin for exploration and production. It's not only just opened up, it has also done, it has set up a national data repository, and the data available is available to anyone. We are not telling people you come and invest and then we will take over. You come and invest, you come and explore. We will incentivize your investment. So ENP is growing, demand ENP, the transition to green energy. Today the Honorable Prime Minister, this is Energy Week, 3 major initiatives he took today: solar cooktop, E20 fuel, a rally which is of not just E20 cars, many of the vehicles which were there were E85 vehicles. Flexi fuel. So India is a place where it's happening. So I'll share something with you. When we were planning this event, some people turned around and asked me, you know, when you go to some of these events in the Gulf, there's a lot of buzz and excitement. What will happen to India? I said, welcome to India. You know, we have a capacity. If you are expecting 1,000, you'll get 5,000 people. So I think that is what you are witnessing here just now.
Sir, also, we are seeing that energy justice is making a major buzzword, especially with Prime Minister Narendra Modi talking about that.
No.
How we are moving on that?
No, energy justice is very important, because there was a session today on what do you mean by energy security. Now, I took the liberty of telling them that if you were having a discussion on energy security 1 or 2 years ago, in the midst of all the global uncertainty, it would mean one thing. But if you were having the discussion 5 years ago, it would have meant something else. But you know, energy security, if global markets are in turmoil, means you must have availability, you must have security, stability. And that even if you are able to access energy, it has to be at prices in which developing countries in particular can supply energy to their consumers. I mean, I've been asked this question many times, so I don't even mind I don't want to wait for you to ask it. I owe a moral duty to my consumer. You land in Bangalore and you see, well, I don't want to get it wrong, because I mean, I have a stake in, you know, a part of me is belongs to Karnataka, you know, but the point is, look at the number of cars and energy. That is the energy. So you have no option but to provide for them. And therefore, it requires a serious discussion. Instead of people putting the blame on X or a group of producers or something, we must be able to realize that we are all stakeholders in this together. And if the system doesn't survive, all of us in varying degrees are going to suffer.
India's G20 presidency, how do you see India leading from the front, especially in this regard?
Look, G20 presidency, India assumed a very short while ago, and we'll have it throughout the year. There will be many G20 events. But this, I think, is the first large-scale G20 event as part of on energy. I mean, there are energy workshops, etc. And I think what India can bring on the table, and I've said this many times, look, the G20 as a group was born in a moment of crisis. G20 was born when the world financial and economic system was in distress. You know, I'm talking about 2007 and 8, and the world, the real estate markets, starting with the prime sector lending in the US, they started, some toxicity came, it spread. This is the first real crisis after that, after 2007 and 8. And India, by virtue of its fact that it's a large developing country, it is doing a lot on energy transition. I mean, I'll give you a small example, the solar cooktop, which the Prime Minister introduced today. I personally think it has major global replicability, at least in the global south. I personally think even in Western industrial democracies, people might want to use something which have solar. If you have enough sunshine, you would want to use a solar cooktop. So there are many things that India can be part of that. And I'm not saying that I'm not listing out anything, but the whole idea of the G20 is to have as wide a consultative process.
That was, the Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri saying that India is going to lead from the front when it comes to energy and is going to showcase to the world a classic example how to manage energy and a transition and in due course of time become net neutral by 2070. With camera person Mohit Joshi, this is Taposh Bhattacharya for DD India from Bangalore.
And DT India's correspondent in Bengaluru, Tapas Bhattacharya, also spoke exclusively to Jean-Francois Ferrari. He is the designated minister, who is the senior-most minister in Seychelles, and also the Minister for Blue Economy and Fisheries on the issue of energy, justice being championed by India, among other issues. Listen in.
Joining me is Juan Franco Ferrari, the senior cabinet minister in Seychelles, who has come to India Energy Week to talk about the current scenario of energy and the related programs. Sir, you met our minister, MOPNG, Mr. Hardeep Singh Puri, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the event. It's a huge event, and not just the country, but the whole world is now looking up to India.
It's a huge event. I did not expect it to be that important. For us, it's so fantastic to have our neighbor. You are our neighbor, you are our cousins, developing so fast and bringing out those initiatives in the region. It makes us very proud.
Right. So also, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been talking about energy security, energy justice, and Seychelles is one country which has been working on those aspects also, because you guys are most vulnerable when it comes to climate change. How you guys are working with India?
Well, over the past few years, we have suffered quite a bit of damage from climate change, especially the rise in sea level, because we are a low-lying country like the Maldives. And we have been taking some measures to green our practices, to use less hydrocarbons, but it is very difficult. It's a transition that is very costly, because we need the money to invest in the transition. And so we are partnering with India and with other countries in the region. And I can tell you, for example, we've had some support to do a democratic photovoltaic PV system for the less vulnerable in society, where we put some PV panels on the houses. And this has been financed by India. So, and then we have also been doing floating PVs, trying to generate green energy, but it's quite difficult for us because we are not a very rich country, and we use a lot of energy. So the partnership with India is great.
Are you guys working on more science and technological field and areas where India has certain expertise to help you in transition?
Look, I've just asked the minister, and he promised that he would try and help us. We have a lot of data missing on our ocean, on our seabeds, where we need to do seismic research. India is very good at that. In the past, India has done some of that research and shared the data with us. So I've asked for some more support in that area. Recently, I opened up the petroleum research possibilities and signed with some international companies. So we are inviting India to come in, to kind of have a look at what kind of research it can do. A third area would be waste to energy. We are a small island, but we generate waste. So we need to deal with that waste. India has a good technology for transforming the waste into energy. So these are areas where we can partner. Hopefully, it can be a win-win situation.
And how do you see Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision of life that he has been talking about, lifestyle change and sustainable development, all that? How do you see his vision, especially for the development of the South-South cooperation?
Well, I see an advocate for the South-South, for the global South, like we say, for the poorer countries, and this is fantastic. A country like India leading the G20 is fantastic for us because it takes our voice out there. It takes the message that we need to share technology. You see, for many years we've had what they call the North-South divide. Now I believe we have the technology divide. And if a country like India I believe is the best place to bridge that divide and to tell the rest of the world we need to share technology so that we can improve on efficiency and cleaner fuels.
Last question. India is currently the president of the G20. How do you see in India's presidency G20 going forward, especially for countries like you?
Well, you are our cousins, so it's good to see family up there at the highest level of world governance. And I think today I saw so much energy in Prime Minister Modi. I saw so much energy in Minister Puri just now. So I think you can bring that energy out there to the global scene and make our voice heard much louder.
Much appreciate your time. So that was the senior minister in Seychelles saying that India is going to be the voice of the South, and this G20 will be a very different one from the other ones. With camera person Mohit Joshi, this is Taposh Bhattacharya for GD India from Bengaluru.
So a lot of venues for collaboration when it comes to green energy transitions and also for such transition in global south countries. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated India Energy Week, the first major energy event under India's G20 presidency today, and launched multiple green energy initiatives. What were those initiatives? The next report will fill you in.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated India Energy Week in Bengaluru on Monday. India Energy Week is the first major event in the realm of energy under India's G20 presidency. The day saw several launches of green energy initiatives by Prime Minister Modi. He launched uniforms made from recycled plastic waste bottles under the Unbottled initiative of Indian Oil.
Reduce, reuse और रिसाइकल का मंत्र हमारे संस्कारों में रहा है। प्लास्टिक की वेस्ट बॉटल्स को रिसाइकल करके जो यूनिफॉर्म बनाई गई है, फैशन की दुनिया के लिए, सुंदरता की दुनिया के लिए, उसमें कोई कमी नहीं है। हर साल 10 करोड़ ऐसी बॉटल्स की रिसाइकलिंग का लक्ष्य पर्यावरण की रक्षा में बहुत मदद करेगा। ये मिशन लाइफ यानी लाइफस्टाइल फॉर एनवायरनमेंट को भी मजबूती देगा, जिसकी दुनिया को आज बहुत आवश्यकता है।
Prime Minister also dedicated the twin cooktop model of the Indian Oil's indoor solar cooking system, a revolutionary indoor solar cooking solution that works on both solar and auxiliary energy sources simultaneously, and flagged off its commercial rollout. Along the lines of the ethanol blending roadmap, Prime Minister also launched the E20 fuel at 84 retail outlets of oil marketing companies in 11 states and union territories. E20 is a blend of 20% ethanol with petrol. The government aims to achieve a complete 20% blending of ethanol by 2025, and oil marketing companies are setting up 2G, 3G ethanol plants that will facilitate the progress. He also flagged off the Green Mobility Rally, where vehicles running on green energy sources participated to help create public awareness for green fuels. Sharing insights on the green energy transition initiatives underway in India, Prime Minister Narendra Modi shared the 4 major verticals of India's energy sector.
एनर्जी सेक्टर को लेकर भारत की स्ट्रेटेजी के 4 मेजर वर्टिकल्स हैं। पहला, डोमेस्टिक एक्सप्लोरेशन और प्रोडक्शन को बढ़ाना। दूसरा, सप्लाईज को डाइवर्सिफिकेशन। तीसरा, बायोफ्यूल्स, इथेनॉल, कंप्रेस्ड बायोगैस और सोलार जैसे ऑल्टरनेटिव एनर्जी सोर्सेज का विस्तार। और चौथा, इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल और हाइड्रोजन के जरिए डीकार्बनाइजेशन। इन चारों ही दिशाओं में भारत तेजी से काम कर रहा है।
The launch of India's path-breaking and ambitious green hydrogen figured prominently in Prime Minister's address.
एक और सेक्टर जिसमें भारत विश्व में लीड ले रहा है वो है ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन का। नेशनल ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन मिशन 21वीं सदी के भारत को नई दिशा देगा। इस दशक के अंत तक हम 5 MMTPA ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन के प्रोडक्शन का लक्ष्य लेकर चल रहे हैं। इसमें भी 8 लाख करोड़ रुपए से अधिक के इन्वेस्टमेंट की संभावनाएं हैं। भारत अगले 5 वर्षों में ग्रे हाइड्रोजन को रिप्लेस करते हुए ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन का हिस्सा 25% तक बढ़ाएगा।
India Energy Week is being organized from the 6th to the 8th of February and aims to showcase India's rising progress as an energy transition powerhouse. The event has brought together leaders from the traditional and non-traditional energy industry, governments and academia to discuss the challenges and opportunities that a responsible energy transition presents. Over 30 ministers from across the world, more than 30,000 delegates, 1,000 exhibitors and 500 speakers have gathered to discuss the challenges and opportunities of India's energy future. With inputs from Tapas Bhattacharya in Bengaluru, Bureau Report, DD, India.
Well, today saw the second day of deliberations at the first meeting of the G20 Energy Transition Working Group in Bengaluru. Here's what transpired in the meeting. G20 delegates gathered for the second day in a row for the Energy Transition Working Group meeting in Bengaluru. A day after agreeing to make collective efforts in priority areas to achieve energy security and diversified supply chains of new energy sources, the focus was on other key aspects such as universal access to clean energy, just, affordable and inclusive energy transition pathways, promoting energy efficiency and sustainable lifestyles, and cost-effective solutions to decarbonize hard-to-abate sectors.
So far they have been discussing energy transition, just transition only in the context of some particular transition, like in some countries coal mines have been closed in some European countries. So it has led to some job shift to new areas. But in today's India's presidency, we said it has to be seen also for that each country and each human being on the planet has the access to affordable clean energy. That is the real just and inclusive transition. So we have to manage our fuel prices and our choice of technology and our supply chain.
G20 delegates further discussed ways to ensure energy security by addressing supply chain vulnerabilities, especially for critical minerals, the role of transnational grid connections, and ways to strengthen and facilitate clean energy transitions globally.
One thing also was discussed in detail and everybody appreciated that grid interconnections, like India is promoting under One Sun, One World, One Grid. Grid interconnections can lead to better utilization of renewable energy generated without that much storage capacity, because you can supply that surplus renewable energy to other countries in your region and neighborhood. So that way you can bring down the storage requirements, because storage is very expensive. So if you use it in an isolated manner, you require more storage. Once you interconnect with other countries, other regions, you can use the renewable energy without very high storage requirements. That will bring down the cost.
G20 delegates appreciated India's energy transition initiatives.
All the delegations, all G20 member countries, they complimented India for such mission mode implementation of these 3 schemes, which has led to almost 100% access to electricity, access to clean cooking, and access to efficient lighting. India will incorporate those suggestions and comments and present the draft of the deliverables, because today in this meeting we discussed the presentations and general suggestions.
Member countries prepared a compendium of best practices And in the evening, the delegates visited the Infosys Green Building campus and the Pavagada Solar Park to see firsthand India's push towards renewable sector and efforts to mitigate climate change. There will be 3 more meetings of the Energy Transition Working Group in the future. The next one in Gujarat's Gandhinagar in April is expected to consolidate progress made in Bengaluru. With inputs from Aisha Khanam in Bengaluru, Bureau Report, DD India. And Youth 20 kick-started in Guwahati today. The 3-day event has 320 youth delegates in attendance, and Youth and Sports Affairs Minister Anurag Singh Thakur will be launching a white paper on the last day of the event, that is on the 8th of February. Vishal Baristo reports from Guwahati.
The 3-day Youth 20 inception meeting started in Guwahati on Monday with the aim of laying out the groundwork for youth-centric programs during India's G20 presidency. Y20 works with an aim to provide the youth a platform to raise their concerns on contemporary issues and voice their opinions to a global audience.
लगभग 23 जो कंट्री से वहाँ से यूथ्स आए हैं पार्टिसिपेट करने के लिए यहाँ पर, और असम की जो माननीय मुख्यमंत्री है उनकी तरफ से भी Y20 के लिए स्कूल लेवल में लगभग 10 लाख युवाओं को इसके साथ जोड़ा गया, और उसके साथ साथ जो यूनिवर्सिटीज और कॉलेज है उससे भी लगभग 10,000 जो है स्टूडेंट्स को इसके साथ जोड़ा गया। मैं दिल से उनका धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगा कि वसुधैव कुटुंबकम इस वाणी को मान्यता देते हुए जो इस बार भारत को G20 का मेजबानी करने का जो इस बार जो नौबत आया है, इस बार जो मौका मिला है, लगता है पूरा जो विश्व है उसको दिखाने का, शोकेस करने का कि विश्व का सबसे युवा जो देश है वो भारत है।
The inaugural day ended with an ice-breaking session with Y20 delegates at Brahmaputra Standby Island. Here, eminent singer Papon mesmerized the onlookers with his riveting performance. Union Youth Affairs Minister Anurag Singh Thakur will be holding a youth dialogue with 320 youth delegates on the 5 themes of focus identified by India for Y20 on Tuesday. On the final day, the Union Minister would launch a white paper on various themes, and Assam Chief Minister Hemanta Biswa Sarma will present research papers for students and academicians of Assam. The 5 focus themes are: Number 1, Future of Work, Industry 4.0, Innovation and 21st Century Skills. Number 2, Climate Change and Disaster Risk Reduction, Making Sustainability a Way of Life. Number 3, Peace Building and Reconciliation, Ushering in an Era of No War. Number 4, Sharing Future, Youth in Democracy and Governance. Number 5, Health, Wellbeing and Sports, Agenda for Youth. Technical sessions and deliberations will also be organized at IIT Guwahati.
Guwahati's Y20 would be followed by 17 other events, and the culmination would happen later this year in Varanasi. With cameraman Anoop, this is Vishal Baristo for DD India.
Well, today the day ended for Y20 with eminent singer Papon performing for the delegates in Guwahati. We leave you with those visuals. Namaskar.
Please have your applause, and all of us together for Y20, for G20, for a better tomorrow, for a better world, for one love. Wow, look at you, more phones, come on, more of you, come on, keep going on, and love yourself. You have to sing, okay? तूने कहा सुना होगा जरा पागल तूने मुझे तो ऐसा तू इंसान है।
Get in-depth analysis of the important news of the day. Spotlight on day's newsmakers. Expert comments to dissect the news. Get the finer points of the matter. Watch Dateline 5 p.m. on weekdays on DD India.
पेमेंट फेल लेकिन पैसे तो कट गई मेरी मेहनत की कमाई।
हो जाएगी भरपाई, चिंता मत कर मेरे भाई। अगर डिजिटल ट्रांजैक्शन फेल हो जाए और अकाउंट से पैसे कट जाएं, तो बैंक समय से पैसे लौटा देगा, वरना कॉम्पनसेशन का है प्रावधान। नहीं तो आरबीआई के ओम्बुड्समैन को शिकायत करें आप।
योर बिल।
मेरी फीस। आरबीआई कहता है
जानकार बनिए, सतर्क।
Namaste everybody. I'm Susan Ferguson and I'm the UN Women Country Representative here in India. Watch me on DD Dialogue, DD India on the G20 series talking about women-led development in G20.
Namaste. I'm Sean Bisharp. I'm the UN